Okay, now what is academic research? So in academic research, you must not only answer a question, but you must find something new and interesting. Okay, now the keyword is also something new and interesting. So this is academic research. Academic research. Okay. Let me give you one example, okay, of academic something new and interesting. Okay, okay. Let's say that once upon a time. Okay, now I'm sharing a final year project, BSE final year project. Okay, now previously, uh, some students, okay, when they actually see the final year project coordinator or supervisor, okay, now I'm sharing an experience. Okay, one student, she wanted the project, the final year project, to be to create something related to wedding planner application. Wedding planner application. Okay, now her title was rejected back then, at that time. At that time. Why? Because according to the final year project coordinator, okay, that title is like, this is like a normal title, meaning that it's not just normal. Someone else has done it. It's not interesting. It's nothing new, meaning that some other students have done similar title 2 semesters back. 2 semesters back. And according to many of the lecturers, that title is not interesting. Okay, so although there is a possibility of a title, okay, the things that you want to do is a valid problem. Yeah, it's a valid problem because the students argued that, you know, there is this particular wedding planner. Okay, uh, the wedding planner does everything manually and there's no system and so on. So she is trying to create an application for this wedding planner based on the requirements that have been identified by this wedding planner. Okay, now that is a valid problem. The problem is valid. However, because of someone else have done something very similar previously, okay, and again, the lecturers who are the supervisors think that there's nothing new, and it's not interesting. So the title for the research, the final year project, has been rejected, you see, because you need to find something new and interesting. And you may argue, okay, this is subjective. Yes, it is true. The Your interpretation of something new and interesting is very subjective. Very subjective. Sometimes, you know, have lecturer A approves the title, but lecturer B also say no, this is nothing new. So sometimes this is like there is a conflict. In terms of, it's not conflict means that there's no it's not argument, but it's more of different views. Okay, so but however, in general, okay, when you embark on academic research, and this relates to your final year project, you must find something new and interesting. Okay, okay, any question on this, the first point here? Okay,
No, sir.
anyone? Okay, let me go on the next one. Okay, you join a community. When you do research, you join a community of researchers where you must advance the collective understanding of this community. Okay, now meaning that, okay, when you actually embark on research, okay, in your case final year project, okay, meaning that what you do is actually you learn from what others have done, and you extend the knowledge and the skill set what you learn from others, okay, to your project. So meaning that you learn from others, and when you have completed your final year project, that's why you have the thesis and so on. You publish in publications, you publish in conference papers, in thesis, okay. Someone else may want to read your work so that they can learn from you. So meaning that when we embark in research, okay, there is what what we understand as the advancements of collective understanding. So meaning that we learn from others, and others will learn from us based on what we publish. Okay, so this is research. Okay, now for example, I give you some students do not advance the understanding. For example, some final year project students, they do the final year project, but at the end of the day, they do not write the thesis, or they do not write the thesis very well, to the extent that there's nothing in the thesis. So meaning that although the student has done the processes related to research and development, but if he or she does not write very well in terms of what has been done, he or she does not advance the collective understanding. So meaning that this is still considered not complete. That's why the process of writing a thesis itself, or writing a paper to be published, is one important component for you to advance the collective understanding. So that is part of a research. Okay, so this is, I give you a little bit of general what it means. Okay, now each community has a cumulative tradition with a set of interesting questions, tools and methods, practices, a style and language for writing up the research. Okay, now the keyword here is cumulative tradition. Okay, now let me give you an example. Okay, now if we take one research, let's say now we are in BSE, Bachelor of Software Engineering. Okay, so in the context of MIIT BSE, you can see that from one student to another student for BSE final year project, there is similar style. Normally we will ask you, okay, you need to write a proposal, we ask you to have SRS, software requirement documents, software testing documents, and so on. Okay, and you will embark in certain methods such as agile, waterfall method, rapid application development, and so on. Okay, in actually in how you approach the development. Okay, now that is BSE. But if you go to another different group, for example, let's say I take BIMD, Bachelor in Interactive Multimedia Design. Okay, final year project. So basically, for them, there's no such thing as software requirement. There's no software testing and so on. But for them, there is like, oh, they want to have the storyboard. The motherboard. Sorry, I'm mistaken. Storyboard. Okay, they have different elements within their style and so on. So if you go to the Bachelor in Network and Security, different style. If you go to BChem, okay, different style. So meaning that each community, BSE, MIIT is one community, has a cumulative tradition of how to do research. So meaning that the word cumulative, meaning that it actually berkumpul from previous cumulatively, meaning that it has been like that for many years. This is the style for BSE students to actually to undergo the final year project research, which is different compared to, let's say we have bachelor in animation multimedia. Okay, the cumulative tradition is very different compared to BSE. Okay, so meaning that this is what we have here. Okay, any question on you? Ada sebarang pertanyaan on this?
Sir,
Yes.
the cognitive tradition, even though I'm as a BSE can use my methods, I can still use the storyboard to show my product as well, right? I don't exactly get the tradition other than maybe it is format. So a format is important, I guess.
Okay. Okay.
Other
There are
than that,
two. One is the process itself, the techniques itself. Okay,
mhm.
and secondly is actually the formatting. Okay, formatting is one thing in terms of how you want to format things. Okay, but for example, when we say cumulative tradition, it relates to, for example, you see, tools and methods, practices, and so on. The formatting is basically the same throughout MIT,
Mm.
but the techniques is different. For example, I give you okay an example. So for BSE, one of the most common development cycle, the process, okay, the model is the waterfall model, right?
Yes.
The waterfall. I think that is the most basic. We have like the requirements analysis. We have the design. We
From
have the coding or the development itself, and finally we have testing. We have testing, and of course, if there is deployment, we have deployment. So that is normally if you go, this is the BSE. Okay, but if you go to the multimedia, they do not actually use this waterfall model. For example, they are developing a multimedia application. Most probably they will not use uh, the waterfall model, but
yeah,
they
they
will
don't
use
need
a
to.
different model, the ADDIE model, ADDIE.
Mm.
Okay, so what is ADDIE? There is you can Google if you are interested. But now that is the model that is familiar to the multimedia people. Now, let's say that you decide for the BSE project, okay, in the methodology, you want to choose the ADDIE model, the ANY model, ADDIE model, right? Now, the ADDIE model, okay, is not familiar in BSE. So if you choose to take that model, use this in BSE, you may have a problem. You may have a problem when it comes to defending your research. Meaning that when you want to display, showcase your research to the group of the BSE lecturers, they will actually question you a lot, and sometimes it will be problematic to you to defend
Okay.
the work because you are not using the techniques that is familiar with BSE. Okay, this is similar. For example, let's say that uh, now if uh, you go to France, okay, if you go to the let's say if you go to Britain, UK, to the
Yeah.
UK, okay, people greet, we shake hands. Okay, that is UK. This is how you do it. You shake hands. Okay, if you go to some countries, okay, you hug. If you are, it is common that you hug people, meaning that although this is man and woman, you give a light kiss on the cheek. That is considered a tradition there. This is to greet people. Okay,
Yeah.
in France, for example, that is
Yeah.
the case. If you are friends, You meet people, we hug, and you your cheek will touch the other people's cheek. That is a normal. Okay, if you go to Japan, you don't shake, you bow, right? You
Yeah.
bow. That is the process. That is the tradition in Japan. Okay, if you go to some conservative Islamic countries, for example, if you go to, let's say, Saudi Arabia, between man and woman who has no somebody that you have no relationship with, you do not shake hand, right? Because that
Yeah.
will consider something that is wrong. Okay, now you can see that although each of these are acceptable in each places, but if you take one way of doing things and suddenly you actually do it in a different in somewhere else, it may give you a problem. So similar to a research, okay, similar to research. So if you choose to actually do things that is not common in for example, uh, in one particular style, one particular group, community, that particular technique may be rejected, may be rejected. So that's why, okay, here it says that each community has a cumulative tradition. So now this is where I come in as my role as teaching you this research methodology, because what I'm going to do to you, okay, I'm going to do with you throughout this semester is I'm going to introduce to you, this is the cumulative tradition when it comes to BSE student. BSE meaning that you are in software engineering and you are in MIIT. So this is the cumulative tradition, okay, which is very different compared to, for example, BChem or even BIMD. Although BChem and BIMD are both in MIT, but the tradition is different. So this is where I throughout the modules, so you will be introduced to the tradition, research tradition within the software engineering bachelor. So this is what we are going to do. Okay, any question?
Okay.
Okay, okay, next. Okay, now in academic research, you need critical and careful reading of publishers, meaning that one of the important things for you to be in research, you need to do a lot of reading. Reading can be in the form of reading books, reading papers, materials from the internet, okay, what others have done, current knowledge, current technology, and so on, and to be critical about it. Critical means that you review, you review, and you will actually, you may agree or disagree, you may agree or disagree on certain aspects of what you read. Okay, meaning that, okay, now, why I am highlighting this, because I see that, okay, based on many years supervising undergraduate students, quite a number of undergraduate students actually, they just find one information from a particular website, and he or she just take it as is, uh, assuming that what you read is correct. Okay, now, so what we are going to do in this particular course is that I'm going to actually highlight the importance of for you to be critical of what you read, of what you read. Do you agree? You may disagree. So why do you disagree? So if you agree, So why do you agree, and so on. Okay, so this is what we call critical reading. So we need to be critical on what we read. Okay, now why do we need to be we need a lot of reading? There are several reasons. First, to learn what the community already knows. Secondly, to fit your work into the community. And number three, to be prepared for your own work to be evaluated. So meaning that, like I say that for the when you do research, so for example, if someone else has done this work and then you do something very similar, and then people will be asking you, why are you doing this? That that student has done this much better than what you are doing now. So then you will be in problem. Okay. Okay. So this is in general. Okay. Okay. Any question on this? Okay. So now I will proceed.